And now back to your regular programming.
If you speak better to yourself.
You showed up for probably the dumbest conversation we've ever had on this show.
Let's have that smile again.
Tell me how that happens. Physically should not happen.
Relax.
If you say
Give me as well.
3 times a day, God will line it up.
He's just an absolute hack, and he gets his ass kicked by his teammates every week. It's just terrible.
Welcome back to Hack City. Joe DeLeone and Sean Anderson, 2 former college football players from the University of Rhode Island. Today, we are going to be pitching trades that we think need to happen now before the start of the NFL season that are crucial for certain teams' success, as well as we are going to share what teams we think will win the Big 12. We're going to continue on for anyone wondering the exercise of shit or not shit for AFC quarterbacks. It was a fun exercise. The NFL Hack City channel, it's getting a lot of engagement. Nobody questioned the methodology. People just chimed in on, is this NFC or AFC? A couple people were asking. They just wanted some clarity.
AFC is coming.
AFC is coming.
2-minute SEO no swearing rule broken again here. That's tough.
Yeah, get fucked.
It is. Okay, we'll double down on it regardless. As you were, I guess, concluding, teasing the show, do you want me to just get into the nice people?
Well, so I love the fact that the Cavs have Mobley out. They have Garland out. They have all these starters out. And I bet on the Pacers to cover, and they're getting smoked right now.
Cavs
so BetOnline, yes, they're stealing my money right now. But go ahead with the friends of BetOnline.
BetOnline, the world's most trusted betting platform, your number one source for all your sports betting action. Here's what I'm going to do, Joe. I'm calling the shot, and I'm almost going to call. I'm calling a terrified shot. Calling the Celtics just roaring back against the Knicks here.
I bet on the Knicks to cover next game. They better not.
I feel like they did the same thing last year where they opened up a series where they just couldn't hit from 3. And then this kind-hearted doofus, who's a Celtics fan in my life, started telling me, they just missed threes. They missed threes. They're going to get back at it. Okay, they better. Because I'm going to start being real mean to this kind-hearted doofus if I put money on Boston at BetOnline. And Boston decides
did
to
you
lose
bet on Boston last night too?
No, I did not. I stayed away.
That was a mistake.
Weird.
Up by 20. Couldn't keep a lead. Had the one game where I bet on them, which I haven't bet on them in a long time, decides to be the game where they have the worst 3-point shooting game in NBA playoff history. Love that. Sorry. Continue.
This is a good stretch to be a sports fan. It's a good
also
stretch
bet on
to
the
be
Nugget
doing
or
some
on the
sports
Thunder
betting.
last night. Sorry.
You got
I'm sorry.
NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, MLB. Your team, unless you're a Rockies fan or a White Sox fan, your team probably isn't a big heaping load of. I'm doing a read, so I'm going to save a word there. So it's a good time. You just got off the draft. You got some good basketball going. Head to BetOnline. They got the largest selection of odds on anything from MLB, NHL, UFC. BetOnline remains the number one online source for your sports wagering info. Read almost done in between games. Head over to the BetOnline casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Sean, we are in this dead period before the NFL season gets exciting, but it doesn't mean that we can't have a massive trade that can happen before the year starts. There is now a runway, as we know what these teams were able to acquire in free agency. We knew what these teams were able to get through the NFL draft. They now have a chance to figure out what that final piece is. And there's a lot of guys that are out there that could be on the market, that could be on the move to be traded. So I'm going to start us off here with a trade that I think needs to happen before the start of the year. I want to see Jalen Ramsey, the corner for the Dolphins, who this one is already clear. We know that Jalen Ramsey is on the trade market. We know that the Dolphins have already established this. They've already talked to Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey is cool with it. Him going to the Cincinnati Bengals is a perfect trade-off for both sides. Ramsey gets to go to a team that is contending and trying to seem serious. The Bengals addressed a number of defensive spots, but did not fully address really, truly bolstering their secondary. A veteran like Ramsey who could play multiple roles for them, I think, is a significant missing piece. Now, the other part about this, I don't know if this is plausible because it's already a little bit of a crowded defensive line. You wouldn't do a direct swap. You would have to do Jalen Ramsey and some picks in order to make this happen. But you could ship off Trey Hendrickson as a part of this deal in order to get him out of town because he doesn't want to be there, apparently, if they can't get that deal done.
Beating me to the punch a bit here. Jalen Ramsey joining a defense where the two other best defensive players, excluding Mike Hilton, are trying to get out of that defense, including Trey Hendrickson and Jermaine Pratt. I loved your pitch of Cincinnati, a team trying to take themselves seriously. I think they are trying. Signing Jalen Ramsey probably would be taking themselves seriously. I think Jalen Ramsey could be a guy to have a late stage reinvigoration through osmosis of being able to compete with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins all the time. I think that kind of puts him in a locked-in state where they like, I don't know if T. Higgins likes to talk as much, but Jamar Chase, he's going to talk a little bit, get Jalen Ramsey involved, and maybe you eventually have a defensive leader that is loud and proud in his football strengths. So I don't mind it. I'm kind of at the point here, Jalen Ramsey going to a team that is in the top 16 in the top half of the NFL. I think I could get pretty fired up about it. I think I'm in that spot where he's in a do no wrong unless you go to a total non-contender.
And the biggest thing here at the Bengals is like, who is their defensive leader? That is like the biggest thing. We talk about how bad their whole defense was last season and how all over the place it was. Trey Hendrickson was the only like real rallying point, but you've got all these young dudes that were so inconsistent and such a mess. They didn't get the additions that it felt like they needed to acquire for their secondary. They don't have any top draft picks that came out of this class to play safety or to play corner. I know there's been a little bit of a projection here that, hey, you've got a corner who's towards the end of his career. He's not going to move as fluidly as he once did. He's a big guy. He could move to safety. Their secondary at safety, it stinks. That's where the biggest underwhelming aspect of the Bengals defense has been, is that neither Jordan Battle or it feels like Geno Stone have played up to what everybody has been hoping for them to, especially Jordan Battle. He has been extremely underwhelming. Imagine throwing in, I don't think Jalen Ramsey would be playing strong safety, but just throwing him into the mix of that DB room is something that they need.
You know how I know they're bad on the defensive backfield? Who were the two names you mentioned? Their DBs?
Jordan Battle and Geno Stone.
No clue. That's how I know they're.
You don't remember
toasted.
Jordan Battle when he was at Bama?
It sounded familiar, but I couldn't place him in college.
He was one of those Nick Saban, like really, cerebral, smart football player, but didn't really have the hips for it.
Gotcha. You know what? You dropped a couple nuggets on me there. That is, they need help. They need help at defensive back.
This is
I
can
normally
corners.
name one a team.
These are their corners:
rough.
DJ Turner, Cam Taylor-Britt, Dax Hill. Dax Hill, they picked up the 5th-year option. I think that there's like Cam Taylor-Britt has been fine, but imagine if you threw Jalen Ramsey in there. And I know Jalen Ramsey's not exactly the epitome of veteran leader. He's not the guy that you think of every single time that's like, oh, this is the player who sets the culture, fixes our locker room. He's a great player. But having a guy with as much experience as him, I think rights a lot of wrongs for how ass their defense was last season.
Yeah, they need help bad, and they can't keep on playing the half good team, half bad team with the offense just being knocking down all the doors they want to. Defense can't keep one up. My first trade pitch, Joseph, if you don't mind, okay. I'll lead this joker in here. Buffalo Bills in a very crowded wide receiver room. Going to have to trim some of the fat for this one, as they should. I'll get to that in a moment. Trading for a Packers number 2 wide receiver, one of the bunch that they have on the team, either being Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, or Dontavian Wicks. All 3 of those players are better than whatever number 2 that they have in Buffalo right now. That includes Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel, Joshua Palmer, who they brought in. Keon Coleman could play a 1, and we know they like to have 2 tight ends in Kincaid and Knox constantly running out there. Wicks, Dobbs, Watson would help, and they surpass the almost scat back like wide receivers that the Bills have surrounded Josh Allen with, which may be good for scrambling, but I think with the reduced rate of him doing that, they need a guy who can actually play the wide receiver game top to bottom and not just a quick scamper yak guy. They need Dobbs. Great contested catch. Great at the point of attack. The biggest catch is him, that I can remember from Romeo Doubs, is him going over top and not being an especially tall receiver, knowing exactly when to go. Christian Watson, physical freak, 6'4", burners. If he just injury plagued, if he can get right and gets right in Buffalo, he could be a difference maker for them. And Wicks developed into a tremendously exciting receiver with a ton of potential. But that room in Green Bay is so full with more young talent Matthew Golden they bring in. They bring in Savion Williams in the draft also, and they signed Mecole Hardman. One of these number twos has to go, and Buffalo needs a better number two.
It's kind of comical to look at this Packers receiver room because they have so many guys already.
So many.
And then they drafted 2 players, 2 that one Golden plays a role that feels like you already have established. Hardman, I completely forgot that they added him. Savion Williams is going to be the gadget player that they use. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't end up playing mostly running back. That was one of the things that we heard at the Combine, is that apparently a lot of teams were working him out as a running back, that were projecting him on the roster as a running back. You're just kind of saying F it to Brandon Beane's big storm off on that Bills radio station where he complained he didn't complain. He bitched out the hosts after they spent time evaluating the draft class and saying, why didn't they draft a receiver early? And he chimed in by saying, we had the most productive offense in the NFL. Why the hell do we need to get another receiver? Why is that such a big issue? You're just bypassing that?
Yeah, I'll bypass Beane. And you know what? I get why he's uptight. You've developed and created a great football team. Great. We're sick of it, though. Make the step. Get to the Super Bowl. Don't even win it. Get there. Get past the big bad in the AFC. And then you can storm off on the radio hosts. Then you can have something to be proud about. Other than that, we're looking at a second-round exit Buffalo Bills team. At best, AFC Championship exiting Buffalo Bills team.
You're also out on Elijah Moore, who they signed the other day.
Dude,
here's
okay.
He's one of those guys where you just constantly just like, oh, they signed Elijah Moore.
You're in my wheelhouse.
This is Elijah Moore's breakout year, everybody. This is going to be the breakout candidate, Elijah Moore. How many years in a row do you think we've been saying that? Did you see the Kyle Pitts? It's been twice this offseason. I'm sorry. It's been twice this offseason that there have been quotes from the Falcons coaching staff that have said, oh, yeah, we're really expecting big things from Kyle Pitts this year. I've been waiting for big things from Kyle Pitts. Y'all need to when you get asked a question about Kyle Pitts, if you're on that coaching staff, say, we're good. Pass. We'll see what happens.
Excited for him.
Yeah.
That's all you need to say. Thanks for instilling that hurt in me real quick before I was about to jump in. Elijah Moore, that is one of the dudes where I was looking at him in college and looking at him working out next to DK Metcalf. There's a photo of the both of them shirtless. And I said, who's stopping this dude in the league? I thought DK was good. This guy might even be like slimmer, twitchier, everything. Really, really disappointed by that arc and that he hasn't been able to really figure it out.
I think that if I were to like fantasy project this trade, Christian Watson would probably be the biggest just profile need, because they need – I feel like that there's no impactful speedster right now. Like, they've got some speed, but they don't have like an impactful deep threat like Christian Watson. But Romeo Doubs, I feel like he is the first one. If any of these guys like actually get traded, I feel like someone's going to get traded during the preseason. Dobbs, with the piss fit that he threw last year, seems the most likely to get moved on.
I think just from that, and honestly, he after the piss fit, a new word, new term, love it, love the piss fit. After the piss fit, Dobbs seemed to just kind of settle in, get some targets, and not really be vocal for the rest of the year. So it seemed like he just needed to get it out of his system and then get right back on track, which he did. Surprising for receivers who throw piss fits. But if I'm Green Bay in that front office, I'd say, hey, look, I know you were disgruntled last year. Room's even busier this year. What do you think? How about Buffalo? You want to go to the cold? You're already kind of used to it here in Green Bay. Let's make it work. And I don't think there's a bunch of hostility either. I think it's just, if they can approach it as, look, man, you can go be a great number two. You're going to get buried here, which he will. Romeo Doubs
get buried in Buffalo too.
He will get buried.
Find a way to get buried.
No. He'll surpass the mud in Buffalo.
All right, my second trade that I want to pitch here. Look, Giants did what they had to do. They took the best player available. I applaud that. I love Abdul Carter. I am so excited for what this defense becomes now that you have him. But you've already figured yourself. You have figured out an exit strategy on a player who has been incredibly underwhelming in Kayvon Thibodeaux. Kayvon Thibodeaux is not going to hit free agency just yet. You have the opportunity to trade him as this He has potential type of a player.
This will Chase Young out.
Sure, exactly. You could pitch him as a Chase Young BS like the Commanders did not that long ago when he clearly was regressing to a team that is trying to compete that needs a dynamic pass rusher thrown into the mix. You already have Brian Burns. You don't need to figure out how to deploy Kayvon Thibodeaux. Also, it was really funny on draft night when Kayvon tweeted about Abdul Carter and was freaking out. It's like, Kayvon, man, I don't think you understand what's going on here. I don't think you're getting this one. I don't think you're totally we need to have a real conversation here. What this means for you. This is a pick this is the craziest thing. Reality has not set for Kayvon Thibodeaux because not only did last offseason they go and trade for Brian Burns, that should have been the first, hey, antenna up. They don't think I'm doing a very good job. They had to go get a already established star at the position. Now they've drafted a guy that's been considered one of the best edge rushing prospects to come out in some time. You are going to be watching him from the sideline. So in order to not waste his presence and more importantly, to recoup value instead of just watching him walk into the sunset and go, sign a contract with the Eagles or the Cowboys and win a Super Bowl or the 49ers or some shit like that. Yeah. Trade him now. And I think that the team that you trade him to is the Green Bay Packers, who they have been a notorious franchise for penny pitching, it feels like, with edge rushers. They've also had like this very just weird general strategy for some of these guys that they've drafted with Rashawn Gary and Lucas Van Ness. I think that you have the opportunity to bring in a nice rotational piece into the mix for an already pretty athletic defense.
They paid Gary, who was going to be my initial pick, for just a straight up swap. You trade Thibodeaux to get Gary back.
But why would we?
Well, because that's what the Giants would do. How about we'll give you Lucas Van Ness for Kayvon Thibodeaux? How about that?
Why don't we don't want another? What are you doing?
Because that's what the Giants would do.
We don't need
why would you draft at the end when you had a bunch? Come on, hey, I'm thinking now. If you're offloading Thibodeaux, you need to replace Thibodeaux. You need to replace his spot on the D line here.
I mean, and very quickly share how I got bamboozled in Madden, by the way, by the computer.
What?
So this made me think of this. I'm the worst. I'm normally very good at orchestrating trades, but the computer system in here completely effed me. I traded away Garrett Wilson for a first round pick. It immediately accepted it. I realized that was a mistake. I should have tried and see what I could have milked the AI for. Yeah. Got the third overall pick. I spent the third overall pick on a guy who had a bronze dev trait, who was the 50th highest rated prospect in the draft class. Then I turned that player around and then traded him for a different defensive end that was also shit. So nice. I basically did a New York Giants type of a move here.
You're getting done by your own kind.
Yeah.
Normally you robots, and the computers
and
the robots, you can speak well amongst each other.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right, what's your next trade?
My next trade, Dallas Goedert to the Tennessee Titans. I have somewhat enjoyed the Chig Okonkwo experience in Tennessee with him being the supposed next big vertical threat that has all the intangibles to be able to unlock that offense. I've semi-enjoyed that. Time to get real. You made a real big boy decision in Tennessee. It took a quarterback 1-1. That means Calvin Ridley is not going to be enough. The running backs aren't going to be enough. Dallas Goedert, who has done nothing to my knowledge to peeve those in Philly, but when their GM Howie Roseman or co-GM whatever was at the draft or combine, he said, "Yeah, as of right now, Goedert is on our team. Like as of this moment, he is." What's that mean? Dallas Goedert? I think they're ready to offload. I think they're ready to make a clip at tight end. Titans need some more help, vet help. He's a total pro, Goedert is. And I think young quarterbacks are infinitely helped by total pros coming to their team. If Philly's trying to penny pinch with one of their most underrated offensive weapons over the last 4 years, let them. Tennessee, swoop in, get another guy, try to capitalize. Worst thing here that happens, Joe. Cam Ward doesn't pan out in 1 year. Awful season. We say this was a total mistake. End up 1-1 again. You still got Goedert. You still have a dude. He's a guy that is going to just help your team by being there. It is a need that the Titans have. Put a good tight end with your young quarterback. Good things will happen.
I don't know what Goddard's contract situation is like. He's 30 years old. It looks like it's a 4-year deal, but when did he he's an unrestricted free agent in 2026. So that's kind of the risk here of trading for Goddard. And it's probably why there was a lot of speculation this offseason that Goddard could get moved, is that if you can't come to an agreement on a new contract, you just move him to somebody who needs a piece. If you're the Titans, you can make this deal happen for a day 3 pick in next year's draft. I think that this is a great move. You have the opportunity in a very shit division with a lot of inconsistency and an opportunity to hit the ground running, establish momentum, shock everybody. Bringing in a veteran player like Dallas Goedert, I think, would be the best way to set up Cam Ward for success. One of the biggest things, actually, let me rephrase that. It's not one of the biggest things. One of the most underrated things for Jaden Daniels' success was having Zach Ertz. Yes. Everybody kept talking about, like, wow, Zach Ertz has been like unexpectedly like really productive, and he was really important for this team.
He was old and he was slow, but he was a crafty veteran tight end that understands the pockets, understands exactly where he needs to be. He knows how to run a choice route.
Yes.
He knows how to run the 10 and in. He knows how to get skinny on the skinny. So having that, oh God, that Ertz, Jesus, you floored me with that. Was actually a pretty good comp that you threw out at me.
I think that if you're trying to, and you're not going to be able to like have the Jaden Daniels type of production immediately. You're not going to get that. You're not going to have that level of success. I have projected that I think that there is an underrated shot that you could win the AFC South, but you're not going to, go on to the AFC Championship game, especially with all those monsters of other quarterbacks that you're going to have to face off with. But the way that you can have an unexpectedly good year is adding a veteran. And I think plainly, the receiver room, the tight end room, the offensive weaponry room, it's not going to cut it.
No, they need one more. And one more piece in Tennessee, even if it's not Goddard, even if it's someone a little bit below that Goddard level, completely fires me up for this team. They just need one more, and I can be, wow, excited about the young future. Right now, it's good luck about the future.
Yeah. All right, let's talk a little college ball. We're going to start doing that a little bit more throughout this offseason, as there ain't going to be shit to talk about some days. No, I say that positively because we are the kings of talking about nothing. The Big 12 is going to be a very difficult conference to predict in 2025. I think it is going to be the hardest conference to predict in 2025. We did this with the ACC. One team that we think is the best chance to win it, one team that we think is a sleeper. Who is your one team that has the best shot to win the Big 12?
Kansas State, because Kansas State...
You amaze me with these picks.
As you let in with the unpredictability of the Big 12, Joseph, who is more unpredictable than the Kansas State signal caller, Avery Johnson? Who is the guy that can put a paradox inside the paradox?
I glaze the shit out of Avery Johnson often. And I get scolded for it by my Cajun counterpart, Blake Ruffino, often.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to push against Avery Johnson. I push against the rest of the roster and them losing DJ Giddens.
Is Chris Kleiman still there?
He is still there.
Oh, that helps. I thought, let it be known, in his freshman year or whatever, Avery Johnson, I thought he was like a short king. I didn't think there was much about him.
He's a big dude.
And then I saw him this past year, watched him a little more closely. He's long ass legs. Love the way he plays. Love the way he runs. I feel like the Big 12 doesn't have a commanding quarterback that is going to take the full lead. Who else are we going to have? Rocco Becht? Is he still there?
Levitt, Baron Morton is also a great player.
Tim Horton, who'd you say?
Baron Morton. Continue what you were talking about, man.
Come on.
Sawyer Robertson has also been regarded as a very gifted passer. Jalen Daniels is still at Kansas, by the way.
Sawyer Robinson is a freaking kindergartner misremembering his book reports on the freaking Swiss Family Robinson and Tom Sawyer. That's what we got here.
Noah Fafita is also still at Arizona.
You know what? I take it back. Arizona, Noah Fafita season. That's who I'm
sure Alec Bowman might have another year. No, he doesn't. All right, continue what you were saying about Kansas State.
Yeah, I think in an unpredictable, and last year was a great example of this new Big 12. It was great football, very entertaining to watch, fun teams, always, but they didn't have the stars. They don't have the stars this year. Kansas State has the closest thing to it, and the coach that I really, really respect, especially seeing the transition, the jump from FCS right to the mix and seeing what Kleiman's been able to do in the thick of it. He hasn't flinched once. I like him. I like Kansas State. This is my safe pick.
Well, that's my problem with it. It's so safe. They're the team that's always guaranteed to finish 9-4. You know, 8 and 10 wins. 10-3 at the end of the season is accomplishable.
I think their over under spots was 8.5.
Yeah, 4 spots out. They just didn't have an offseason to me that screams a team that's going to go on to win the conference. My pick for this is Texas Tech. I loved watching Baron Morton, and I think that he has the experience now, 3rd year starting, contributing at quarterback. They're losing Taj Brooks, but they had an insane portal haul. Their offensive line is massive. They brought in a bunch of FCS All-Stars. Cole Wisniewski from NDSU was one of them. Zambrano from Illinois State, the tackle, is one that they brought in as well. And then they got David Bailey and a couple of other key defenders. It's just not your typical Big 12 roster. It's a bunch of great athletes and massive athletes. The UNC tackle that they brought in, 6'8", 330. They got so many enormous dudes. I think that there is going to be a fall off for a lot of teams like BYU, like Iowa State. There is going to be a return to reality for some of these programs. And I think that this is now the time for Texas Tech, who finished the year pretty strong, to finally win the damn conference.
You know, the second highest in the Big 12, I think, for win totals right now, 8.5. Jesus, yeah, top 3 transfer class with several impact players in the trenches. Yeah, you're not off there. I'm fine with Texas Tech. I don't know. I never know what to expect at Texas Tech. Every time they're one of those teams where I default to good, and then sometimes they drop an egg where I'm like, what? Who said they were good? Was that me? Did I say that? I must have said that. I thought they would be.
I hate when Ryan does this bit where he hops in here and then goes, have you watched this player? I'm still getting through other players, man. There's a lot of players to watch. There's thousands of them. I have not gotten to him yet. God, who's your unexpected pick, though?
I'm sorry. Ron's comments are even more startling than Ryan's.
Sean trading.
What does that mean, Ron? Is Sean trading Joe for
All right, stop reading his comments. Just stop reading.
Did I miss a story here?
No, I have no. I'm saying I don't understand it, and it's distracting. And we're having we're talking. Who's your pick?
Oh, my second pick, sleeper build pick here.
Yes,
BYU. Give me the Cougs. Give me that confident ace quarterback, Jake Retzlaff, who shocked the nation last year. Shocked the nation. It's not going to be a shock this year. BYU is not going to be look at BYU 7-0. They're pretty good. No, it's BYU already punch you in the mouth with a good quarterback in regular BYU football. Every year, I think that BYU is going to be shit. And every year they turn out a performance. I'm like, wow, they're better than I thought I was. So if they can hold some of that momentum, I think that anti-doubter momentum that they always carry on, BYU could have a successful year this year.
Okay, I'm out on BYU. They had a lot of games last year where that was one based off of a lot of turnover luck.
Yeah.
They were a very lucky team last year. They make me feel like Oklahoma State did 2 years ago, where Oklahoma State, it's like, whoa, look how good. Where did this come from? They get their doors blown off by Texas in the Big 12 championship game, and then we don't say another word. BYU ends up fumbling away at the, just completely blowing an opportunity to go to the Big 12 championship game at the end of the season. And they ended up, finishing the season a little bit stronger than anybody would have anticipated with the way that they played in their bowl game. But I don't think that they have the level of talent that some of these other Big 12 programs do, especially what Colorado is bringing in this year, especially what Arizona State is bringing back this year. Arizona State would be my second actual pick. But if I was going with an unexpected team, this isn't really a good unexpected one because it is typically a very competitive team. And the team I'm talking about is Utah. They have very quietly the 2 best offensive tackles in college football. Caleb Lomu is already a top 10 pick for me off of guys that I've graded. Spencer Fano, who's their right tackle, could be a late first rounder as well. He's got some great tape. I've been posting about them all week. I think that when you've got an offensive line that's potentially that good and there's still question marks about like how good's your quarterback play going to be this upcoming year? Are you going to be able to run the ball as effectively as you did in spurts last year? I think that there is a potential that they could get back to that normal Utah standard.
Thank you, Cool Story Bros.
Thank you, Cool Story Bros,
for the $5 super chat. Very much appreciate it. Is Dummy going to be heading up the quarterback position this year at Utah? What's his name?
Rising?
Yeah, yeah.
He's not there anymore.
He's not there anymore?
No.
What are we in 2030?
He's gone.
How was that? I thought he was
no
a
longer
lifer.
with. He's no longer with us.
I thought he was going to be he did what I can't pull his name right now. The North Dakota State to South Carolina kid did.
No, he's not. He's not playing. Devin Dampier is the player who is stepping in and is expected to start. Who comes from New Mexico?
Gotcha.
Very promising kid. Very small. Very athletic. From some of the stuff that I've like read on him, they don't have a lot of proven names at quarterback. So like that's where the biggest question mark is like, how good are you actually going to be this year when the quarterback position was such a pain in the ass? Zeb Nolan, is that who you were thinking of?
That's what I was thinking of.
God, that kid was around for way too long.
I'm going to say this also. Hey, RR, I'm not doing the bit today. I'm going to bail my boy out. I'm not going to ask him the questions that he's texting me.
Oh, what did he text you?
What did he
say? No. What is it? I'm a big boy.
Ask Joe's scouting report on Howard Sampson, the UNC transfer.
I haven't watched him.
Okay. Ask Joe did scouting report on Devin Dampier.
No, I have not.
Okay.
A 5'10" quarterback, Ryan. You think that I watched a 5'10" New Man? Ryan, have you watched Devin Dampier? Have you watched Devin Dampier? I want to know if you have.
I bet he's going to clock in and say yes.
I doubt he has. He's bullshit. Probably watched.
I tried to make a nice little fist for the show there, but I guess
I will back down.
All right, gotcha. That was true.
How many 6'8", 330-pound offensive tackles are there in the Big 12? How many?
Me? Is that for me?
No, that is a rhetorical question. That is a purely rhetorical question.
Oh, I'd guess there's probably one on a team. I'd say there's probably 14. How do they have? I think they got more than 14 teams.
Bullshit, you watched Devin Dampier. I'm not buying it.
Well, it's saying
whoever's
watching
a 5'10" quarterback. There's no reason to be watching a New Mexico 5'10" quarterback. I need to know what the reason.
I bet maybe Diego Pavia is a reason for that. How about that?
He's not 5'10".
Oh, how tall do you think he is?
Let's see. He ain't 5'10".
I bet he ain't 6'1".
6'200".
Yeah. 6 foot what? 6 foot 200?
Yeah.
Oh, that's 5'10", 195. Yeah. That is not 6 foot 200. Come on. I don't know why Joe's so angry, Ryan.
I don't know. I hate when Ryan commented the thing that pisses me off that he loves to do, where he says it could be worse. You talk about football for a living, and he gets me so worked up when he does that.
Hey, RR, I'll let you know it can't be worse. I got some skinny today from this dude that put me in a mood. You wouldn't know how foul. You wouldn't know how foul a mood I was in, walking through the mist in the stinky streets of New York, thinking about some choices.
The short of what we're referencing, and we're gonna get to Sean's mall story in a second. The short of what we're referencing, I had a call today with a friend of mine who hosts a show that any of us would be killing for, and he basically is just casually wanting out because he's unsatisfied with a very minor aspect of his work arrangement. Like, has the dream job for somebody in their 20s and is unsatisfied with a very small aspect of it and is willing to throw away that opportunity.
Yeah, rough scene. Definitely don't need a ton of skinny like that moving forward, but I do appreciate it. I do like getting the
Can you tell I saw that you put this in the notes.
Uh-huh.
What do you mean you saved a life at the Jersey City Newport Mall?
Well, let's break this thing down. All right.
Okay.
So this past Saturday, beautiful, gorgeous weekend day in New York City. I was accompanied by Joe. We had some lovely bevs. We had a good meal. Then we meet up.
You were accompanying me. I wasn't accompanying you.
We were all accompanying each other at a nice family brunch.
You came to my family's brunch, and then we enjoyed the weather, and I complained to you that it was so nice out. It was so beautiful. It was 80 degrees. We were sitting out in the sun. We were enjoying some nice drinks outside in
people
a quiet
watching.
area.
It was good.
I yelled at a guy who was honking,
Yeah.
and everybody turned and looked at me while I yelled at this guy while we were sitting there. That was uncomfortable. And we were forced to go to a movie because one of our friends really wanted to go to a movie.
Yes.
On the nicest day that we've had in months.
Gorgeous day, 75, light breeze. It was going well. There might be rain scattered in the eve. Don't matter. We're going to a movie because AMC Stubs memberships are running our friend and Joe's lives.
Not mine. It's running his.
Did you cancel?
I'm going to once the 3 months are over.
Still running your life, Finn. I hope you're ready for the final month gambit when all these movies start dropping. But at the movie, gonna watch Thunderbolts, Marvel's new offering. Good, cool, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really care. I couldn't get into Sinners. It's packed. Somehow, Thunderbolts, Marvel, New Avengers had seats available. We were ready to watch the movie. 20 minutes into the movie, getting sucked in. Joe's indifferent. My pal's getting sucked in. Fire alarm goes off. Can't go into the theater. After that, movie evicted. I still need to get my refund for that. Everybody doesn't get to see the movie that night. Yeah. Bummer. Alter plans Sunday. Going to see the movie. Joe, you want to go to see the movie with us? We're going to go try to finish it out. We kind of got the bug. Joe can't come. That's fine. Joe's not coming to the movie with us. Gonna go trek out in the rain. Ugly ass Sunday. We should have just planned on Sunday from the start. We should have planned on Sunday in the city from the start and not Sunday at the Newport Mall Center Theater, whatever you want to call it. Go there. Hot ass theater. AC broke in the lobby. Hotter than hell. Talking to the worker. Hey, do you think, because I'm thinking, it's a dark room. I know they got a projector. I know there's lights. I know there's science of why it would be hot, but movie theaters tend to run cold. I don't know how quickly the AC's been turned off. Ask the nice lady, hey, is it hotter in the movie theater? She kind of takes a beat, looks around, see if her manager's watching. She says, it's much hotter in the theaters. So
I'm so glad I didn't get sucked into this the second time.
We have to punt. Again, raining. Just ate in an Uber to the theater. Really in a bad mood. Go down to, the main mall, area.
You guys go to the food court? I would have just gone and messed up the Chinese buffet in the food court.
My friend was working on a calorie deficit, and he was trying to. He had
this is the worst part about.
He had 400 remaining for popcorn and a light snack.
You should have made him sit there and watch you eat the Chinese buffet. That's what I would have done. I said, you have ruined my weekend. You have sucked me into 2 shit movies that we haven't even gotten to see.
This is following the story as we were finally leaving the mall. Post big event, big hero moment for Sean. Walking by the Cheesecake Factory, packed out the ass, and it looked good. It didn't look like a standard on the street Cheesecake Factory where it's like a big monolith.
Okay, this has nothing to do with the story.
Should have gone cheesecake. But we're kind of sitting in the waiting area. There's chairs in the mall. There's a big group of 20 chairs sitting down, parched, pissed, not watching Thunderbolts, which I shouldn't really be mad at because I detest new Marvel. But the first 20 minutes were good. Sitting down, I'm like, all right, I gotta go get a drink. I'm in a movie state. I need to go get a drink. At the Coca-Cola refreshment zone. They have a couple because you need to have a branded area for your vending machines now in a mall. I'm walking over. I'm like, all right, I'll go get a Powerade or a water or something. I see they have a card reader. Bang. In front of me, nice lady trying to use the vending machine. She's doing good. She's got cash, but she's taking a while, like taking a surprising amount of time. Then I realize, she doesn't know how to use vending machines. Again, nice lady, I believe from India, Pakistan, maybe, in that area. So she's got cash. She's got ones. She keeps on putting it $1, bang, $2 in, $3, and then she's trying to hit the buttons. She doesn't understand the price on the screen. She doesn't know how to get the price of the drinks because they're not listed in the vending machine. Turns around to me. How does this work? And I said, okay. I started explaining to her how a vending machine works. And it's, what do you want? She wants a smart water. $4.75. You need $2 more, ma'am. You need 2 more. pulls out 2 more ones. What now? I tell her, now you push the button for the smart water. Big arm goes up, pulls the smart water down, puts it out. Everyone's happy. Win. High fiver. I taught a lady how to use a vending machine in the mall.
Actually high fiver?
It was great. She dropped the change. She didn't know the change was going to come out. She had an extra, 50 cents. It wasn't $4.75. It was $4.50. 2 quarters come out. I said, hey, you forgot your change. Gave her the quarters too. Smile. Gives me a very sincere thank you. Taught a lady how to use a vending machine this weekend. I am proud as shit.
You wrote in the notes, Sean saved a life at the mall. That was the...
Yeah,
you taught
she could have been dying
a
of
Middle
thirst.
Eastern woman how to use a vending machine, and you wrote in the notes, you saved a life.
Well, yeah, she could have been dying of thirst. She didn't know how to use the vending machine. I don't know where her water access capabilities.
I'm mad that this is the story you just told.
Joe, it was really, I was telling my friend at the mall, like, that was rewarding as hell. I taught a lady how to use a vending machine. It was good. It was just good work by the kid.
Fuck.
What? Let me get some knuckles for that.
No!
What?
I would have walked to the next vending machine. I wouldn't have helped. Also,
what do you mean?
Well, you can't put in here that you saved a life.
Oh, I did. Her life is altered forever. She now knows how to use vending machines.
I bet she forgets and doesn't know how to use it the next time.
Because now she knows how to search for the price. She knows that she has to hit the button for what she wants to see the price if it's not displayed. And then she puts the money in, as much money as she needs for it. When that arm went up to go get that smart water, I let out a Mike Breen bang because I was fired up. It was a momentous occasion.
The rug pull that you just did on me, I thought that you were going to tell me she was choking. I thought you were going to tell me that you didn't know how to do the Heimlich, but you still pulled it off.
Mm-hmm.
None of those things. None. You helped a woman spend $5 on a vitamin water.
It's smart water.
Oh, smart water. Okay.
Hey, that's a win. I'm
good
telling
for you. I'm happy for you.
That was good work in public.
I'm glad I didn't leave this apartment. Because if that was the highlight of my weekend, I would be really upset with myself.
You know what? That moment probably on the Mount Rushmore of weekend highlights from Friday at 4 to Sunday at midnight. That was a top 4 moment for my weekend.
Depressing.
I'm telling you, it was like, I'm kind of like understanding the thrill of teaching a kid how to ride a bike or being a coach. And I would have been a hell of a coach. I would have been climbing in the coach rankings.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, I could have started at high school. If I started at high school in 2020 when I graduated, I'd probably be at a P4 school right now. I'm that good. This
is unbelievable. Down Bad Dudes, where we talk about mostly dating relating stories, but I sent this to Sean. No idea if this is real or not. Found this on Twitter. At J Era Tickets, JT on Twitter. Today, an intern on my team pinged me asking if I can glaze him at his performance review. So I pinged his manager asking if he can rescind his full-time offer at his performance review. I doubt that this is real, but it just, I don't think it is. But for some reason, it just kind of made me think, because I was texting you about the concept of interns and what interns do earlier. It made me think of this. Why do interns not know how to act? Why do we also then give interns responsibility for things that they don't know how to do? I don't understand the concept of internships. The more that I realize it, I don't know how anyone gave either of us internships.
Oh, come on. We were driven, young. We were going to a
we were
radio
incredibly
station.
Unuseful.
50. Oh, are you kidding? It's my serious internship. I was in the mix. 1 weekend, I was doing full-on duties as an intern. Happy to do them also. Here's why I believe this, Joe. I believe this happened. I believe an intern did. These kids are jackasses. I mean, really,
okay, so this
really,
is a
real
big
big jackassery. And the Hot Mic Guys show I help produce, work on, they've noted that there's a substantial amount of kids that bring their parents to job interviews with them, and their parents are highly involved in job searches. Like, they don't have these skills of working on their own and like getting jobs on their own. So their parents are like heavily involved. I'm not, and seeing intern conduct in years past at a variety of different places, and just seeing it across the social media sphere, this is well in the possibility.
Oh, this is
of an
definitely
intern saying, "Could you glaze me?" Not like, I don't think he said, "Hey, glaze me, lady." I think he said, "Could you glaze me a little bit? I really want to work here." I think that's what he thought was a normal statement to make. And then bang, you're out.
Well, first of all, I've heard from other friends who have had interns in completely different industries than ours. That there are, for the most part, and we're not that far off from the age demo of kids that are interning right now. We're 5 years older than them. We're in the same generation, 5, 6 years older than them. If they're 21, 22 years old.
Hey, that 6 is coming for you quick, pal, by the way. That 5 to 6 years older.
Shut your mouth.
You milk it.
I got one more. I got one more month.
So jealous.
I've heard that they do talk like this and they don't see what's wrong with it. I love the phrase glaze. It snuck its way into an NHL broadcast not that long ago. I could totally believe that this kid sent the Slack message thinking, "Oh, they're gonna think this is funny. This is gonna get me my offer if I am funny and I am the vibes play." First of all, the biggest thing that I hate is when anyone thinks that they are a vibe hire, that they're personality hire. That means you stink at your job. That's the easy tell for me. But the other part about this is that you're talking about the incompetence often of interns. I can think back to the amount of interns that I've had, and I could count. This is 4 years working and having like a lot of. I believe we would bring in interns every single semester.
Yeah,
probably had 3 good interns. One of them was an Ivy League kid, so I don't know if I'd count him because he's supposed to not be a dumbass. The rest of them, none of them did the work that we assigned them. Most of them would miss the meetings. Most of them, if they came into the office, would just sit there and not doing anything and wouldn't even offer to help. And they would just talk to each other the whole time. So yeah, no, I do. Maybe I do kind of believe this.
Yeah, I just think that they're starting to really see the generation gap between 21-year-olds and 26, 27-year-olds. That 5-year difference, they speak a different language. They're on a different wavelength. It's entertaining. I love it personally. I honestly think that our lingo, our way of media consumption, all of that. If I was in high school now, eating it up. I had a skibbity toilet. I would have been kicked out of class for all of that. Riz. I'd be doing Riz face. I'd have 1,000 Instagram posts of me in high school. Riz face, Rizzler, all of that. Everything. Like for some reason, it doesn't irritate me when I'm just casually. It actually very much entertains me. The youth and these maniacs and the cyber maniacs that they are. The way that they talk really cracks me up, and I can't really.
It's very unhinged.
Criticize it. It's super unhinged. Maybe that's why I like it. I hope this kid said that to his manager.
All right, let's get to the hack bag. 201-834-4308. This is the hack bag.
The mail never stops.
This is the hack bag. Hit us on Twitter for questions or call at 201-834-4308.
Do we have any voicemails? Okay.
No voicemails. Twitter questions, real light also, folks. So those of you in here, if you want to leave a if you would like to leave a hack bag message in the chat right now, we'd appreciate it. I'm going to go to an Alvin and the Chipmunks question from Chester. Is Alvin, Simon, or Theodore your favorite chipmunk?
Oh, I thought this was going to be.
Do
you know what I'm?
Does it have to do with Grok?
No. I thought that this was the which chipmunk's getting the best.
Oh,
you know that meme?
No, but this is attached to a nice meme of, I believe, Simon. I think he wears the blue sweater and has the glasses. And this is an Alvin the Chipmunks 2 when the Lady Chipmunks were involved.
Hey, where is this?
I'll send it to you right now. And it's Simon and a Lady Chipmunk. The comment, why is she wearing a dress if she's going to let her rodent hang out of it?
Yeah.
So it's a setup. It's a setup, but I like Theodore. I think I always aligned with. He was the fat chipmunk. I thought he had the best voice also. Like Alvin really hits you with that.
Alvin's a hack. Alvin sucks. Which one's the fat one?
Theodore. Simon's the nerdy one.
Yeah, Simon sucks too. Theodore's, I mean, he's fat, so that's cool.
Here's what I'll say. Ethan Hawke or Ian Hawke, whatever his name, he acted his ass off in that movie.
Did he?
All right, that's the name of his character. Acted his ass off.
Yeah, sign me up. Sign me up for the Fat Chipmunk. I'm a big Fat Chipmunk fan. The other two stink.
Dude, I saw a pigeon that I thought was not 15. I thought I saw a 12-pound pigeon the other day.
Why didn't you get a picture of it?
I wanted to grab it. That's why.
Dude, you can.
I don't need to, though. I don't need to go
Imagine
picking up
if you
New
picked
York.
him up, brought him into the office. You would have made everybody's day. If you
I
brought
don't
him
think
into
I'm
the
making
office.
people's day if I David Blaine a fat pigeon into the office and just open up the coat and here it goes and just drops ka-thunk. And it's just shitting everywhere, dirty as hell.
No.
What am I gonna wash it? You know what?
No,
I
you
could take it in my.
You can't do that. You can't do that. No, you gotta just very delicately just. You come out the elevator and you're holding them, you're cupping them. You're just like, hey guys, I brought it's bring your dog to work day. I don't have a dog, so I brought this fat pigeon I found.
So I've been showering in the office in the mornings.
Oh,
weird situation being butt naked at work for even just for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Very weird.
I hope that it's not in your office.
No, it's at the gym at the bottom.
Sure.
But on the bottom floor.
I'm sure.
If I had the fat pigeon, I feel like I'd have to bathe it also to make sure it's clean. Because I'm not going to bring
a
a
shower.
dirty...
How open is the shower in your office?
We got like 8 stalls.
Oh, there's stalls. It's not like the football locker room
what?
showers.
Could you imagine?
Really set the tone with the.
And here comes the fat cats,
the media boys.
Just. We got some questions in the YouTube chat. If you're listening on audio, feel free to catch the streams on YouTube. Hack City there. Ron, Simon and Joe look a lot alike. Oh, I never put
That's
that
not
together.
a question. That's a comment.
I never put that.
Shut
together.
up, Ron.
I might have a new comp. That's great, Ron.
I don't.
Question from friend of the show, Ryan Roberts. Hackbag.
He's not a friend of the show anymore.
Where does Thunderbolts rank
Enemy
amongst
number one?
Does Thunderbolts rank amongst the best Marvel movies?
Right, we didn't see it.
This
is why he's enemy number one.
The first
he knows we explained it. The first 15 minutes were decent.
They were pretty good. I tell you what, Ryan, the first 20 minutes of that movie, 15 minutes of that movie were good enough for me to want to go back to a Marvel movie
wasn't good
for
enough
another day in a row. That's how good they were. Oh, another question from Ryan Roberts. Hackbag for Joe. How would you rate Devin Dampier amongst Big 12 quarterbacks returning?
6.
6?
I don't know. I'm just throwing out a number. Trying to appease him.
That's a guy you want to appease?
Sure.
He's terrorizing the chat.
Ron, why are you saying Joe showers at work? I work from home. I do shower at work.
Oh,
technically. I shower in the middle of the day because I work out in the middle of the day.
Literal Sean might have just bit on a Ron pump fake there on Joe showering at work because you work at home. Ron, I'm Sean, by the way.
I don't think he has that much
I'm
nuance.
showering at work. My name's Sean Anderson. I'm showering at work. I'm naked at work. While showering.
Is there anyone hanging dong in the
I'm not
in
looking.
the Fox
First of all, I'm getting in. When I get in, it's nice. The showers are at. I'm
Okay.
definitely after the morning rush of lifters, so it's pretty open. But I'm doing the standard protocol. I feel like standard protocol is britches on when you're leaving the shower. That's how I'm operating, and that's how I will continue to operate.
You've earned it.
Man,
You've earned the naked strut. You did 4 years of it. Why are you being so protective now all of a sudden?
I don't need to be doing all that there. I don't need to be doing all that there. I'm almost contemplating. Oh yeah, I got a lot to hide. My body, my immense body. What are you talking about? Something to hide. I'm gonna be on a boat in 10 days. That's gonna be a scene. Jackknife cannonball.
Like a manatee.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
All right.
So sunburned right on my chest.
201-834-4308. Call in. We need questions.
Of course.
Thank questions.
Thank you again, Cool Story Bros, for the super chat. I'll double back on him.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Unexpected.
All you cheapskates listening for free, enjoy it because you got some generous folk that are carrying the load and keeping the lights on here.
Yes. All right. We'll talk to you folks later. Enjoy the rest of your week.